I guess we're taught to be so strong and so like powerful that we're not taught to be able to be vulnerable to say, like, to go listen to that criticism without being like, well, fuck you. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of it's the internet, man. A lot of it's the internet. People have lost the whole fucking face-to-face thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm 36, right? So I'm a slightly older generation. But back in my day, if you wanted a chick, you had to go up and say hello. There was no internet, nothing. Everything was in person. You want to do a business deal, it was in person. It was in person, it was in person. And I think a lot of men who, if their dad doesn't like them, would be too scared or too intimidated or too nervous or too egotistical or arrogant to just go and sit there and say, bro, she's your daughter. I'm telling you, there's not a dad on earth who I couldn't sit there and say, listen, I understand you've seen things on the internet about me. I understand the media said a bunch of things. I know she's your daughter. You've raised her your whole life. I can see how close you are. She really loves you. She talks about you in such a positive way. If we're going to be together a long time, I'm going to end up part of this family.
That must be so tough.
Would you like to talk about it? It's hard. But it is hard. And it's hard because the internet has destroyed, it's made everyone socially awkward. And also, I think that some of the basic tenets of how humans have been raised for a very long time have been destroyed. Like basic, like respect your elders, bro. Like he's older than you and that's his daughter and he doesn't like you. He's allowed to not like you. That's his daughter, bro. He's older than you and that's his daughter. You need to humble yourself. It's arrogance. We live in a world now where all these young kids on the internet and shit, they're all arrogant as fuck. But no, if I'm going to humble myself, you have to know your position, right? No one's top dog all the time. In a certain scenario, I'm top dog. But if I go skiing, I'm not top dog. I can't ski, right? So when it comes to a man raising a woman or raising a daughter for fucking 28 years or however old she is and dedicating his life to her, knowing he'd take a bullet for her, you can't be the top dog and go, I don't owe this man an explanation. You have to humble yourself and sit there and say, listen, he's upset. And I'm telling you, by even asking the question in a respectful way, you've already taken one step forward. You already have, regardless of what he says. Now, he may say a bunch of shit that you can't help. He may be a piece of shit. He may be racist, he may be whatever, but it's good to at least hear the man out. And you may be surprised. I guarantee 95% of the time, he's just going to say something like, I don't think you're serious about her. You don't care about her. And you can probably fix it. Yeah. So if a dad wasn't
that's a power move.
If a dad wasn't that into me, I'd fix it. Everything in life is my fault. He has a perception of me. That perception is my fault. And I would address the perception and attempt to fix it. That's why I've never had parents, any woman I've been associated with ever, just like me. I would be an arrogant, the biggest problem with the world today, and I get called arrogant all the time, but I actually don't like to think I am.
Does that bother you or no?
No, because it's not true. But I actually don't like to think I am. But the biggest problem in the world today is the absolute amount of brutal arrogance that people have inside of them. Everyone's so ridiculously arrogant.
I get what you're saying.
How can you say that when people feel that way about you?
No, but me. Listen, what kind of person would I be to sit to a woman and go, how dare your dad not like me? Look at the shit they write about me on the internet. Well, how arrogant would I have to be to go, that guy? That'd just be dumb. I'd be like, I completely get it. Let's go see your dad. Let me go talk to the dude.
Yeah, I think this thing comes down to like people are just not comfortable enough with being vulnerable.
Completely. And they're not comfortable with normal social human interaction.
I hate meeting the dad.
So, okay.
I kind of like it, man.
I don't like it.
It's kind of interesting.
How do you think a young male can allow himself to be more vulnerable? Yeah. Like what are the steps he can take? Because I think that's the biggest problem, because a lot of it is like being unwilling to confront something within themselves, or being like, in this sense, being able to confront the dad because he can't take that criticism, right? Yeah. So how do you think a young male can build vulnerability in himself and be comfortable with it?
Yeah. And that's a really good question. And I think you're never going to be good at something you don't practice.
How do you do that?
You just have to understand it's part of human nature, and life is not always about being comfortable, and you just have to practice it. And like I said, you can get a sales job, or you can practice it, or you can go to I think facing confrontation in your life in general is going to apply. But yeah, a load of people are living very sheltered realities. There's a whole bunch of people who are just sitting on the internet, swiping on Tinder, talking to girls by text message at first, half knowing her before they meet her. And then when they meet an older dude who wants to sit there and look them in the eye and say, look, you're my daughter and you're acting like a piece of shit on the internet. I want to know the truth about it. They're going to sit there and go, oh, this is weird. It's not weird. You're weird. You're the weirdo. He's not the weirdo. He grew up in the normal world. We've grown up in a world now which is completely and utterly fucked. Morality's everything's we're the weirdos. He's not weird.
I got to ask one thing. I'm curious. What do you think the percent of males, their success, like their reason behind wanting to be successful is to get a girl?
I think that status signaling has been the same since the dawn of human time. I think that peacocks have feathers for a reason. I think the reason the kings of old got gold and conquered land was for pussy. I think men have always been the same. We've always wanted to signal our status to get females. Yeah. And nothing's changed. Sure. We don't want the big house and the nice car because we want to walk around a huge house to go toilet and we want to break speed limits. A lot of it is just a status signal to show the world, look, I'm important. Look what I've done.
To be accepted.
To be accepted.
Why do you feel love, bro?
But that's what I'm saying. Why do you think guys are so afraid to say, yo, I wanted to be successful. I wanted to make all these millions to get a girl?
But it's not about being afraid to say it. I think that's I think that's a given.
How would you deal with a father that doesn't like you? Like say you're with a girl and like he's just not fucking with you.
Yo, that was a very that felt
I really want to
personal.
know.
Yeah.
That felt super
That's
personal.
okay.
I'm serious.
That's
I
okay.
don't know.
Okay, so I would.
Yeah, how do you impress the fathers?
Yeah, I would accept that.
I feel like you're good with dads.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I am. I've never had that scenario.
But
But
what about your relationship with your father?
me and my dad always got along.
Creating your
so
value.
well. But I would accept everything in life is my fault because that's how I work as a person. I would accept that him disliking me is my fault. I would be a man about it, and I would ask him what he's unhappy about, and he might be right. I'd sit there and go, what do you dislike about me?
So just confront the dad.
Not confront in a negative way. I'll just say, look, I'm here with your daughter. I really care about her. She's made it clear, or I get the impression that you're not particularly happy with me. Is there anything I can do? I just want to show you respect. You're a bit older than me. I want to show you enough respect to ask if there's anything about me that particularly upsets you.
It's a power move.
And because he'll respect you more. Men respect men who stand up for themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
So the first thing he'll do is respect you more for even asking instead of hiding away from the dude.
If you say it in a respectful
But that
way.
You say it in a respectful way. And then he'll give you a bunch of answers. And then you have to be non-emotional and be professional. Listen to the answers. Don't get defensive and sit there and go, you know what? 70% of them are probably
so what do you
right.
think-
We want, it's not about just to get a girl. You know what men also want? Men want respect of other men.
Yeah.
We want to be seen as we want to be respected, right? We don't want to walk into a room and not be respected.
Sure.
So there's a lot of things we do to be respected. It's the reason certain
true.
men, it's the reason he's so fucking big. It's the reason I fought. It's like you want to be respected. You don't want to walk in a room and everyone go, "F this guy." Right?
Yeah.
You want to be respected by men and women alike. We're social animals. And this is why Alexander the Great conquered the known universe. This is why Genghis Khan conquered basically the whole world and said, find something else for me to conquer. Don't give a find somebody and take it. Because you want to, I'm the top G. That's life. That's why I conquered,
Yo, like-
that's why I conquered the internet.
Yo,
the
you're
top
the
G.
goat.
Dr. Tate.
You're
Yeah.
the GOAT. Straight
Bro,
up.
like I mean, I grew up without a father in that sense. The reason why you talk about being big, like the thing that had me in the gym that made me feel like, okay, this is why this is so important to me, is because I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be respected. I wanted to feel like I'm going to say, like I've been saying this time, is I wanted to feel loved. And I thought that being bigger or being stronger or like would make me look obviously less weak to other men. I'd feel like maybe some acceptance of other people that I would consider father figures throughout my life.
Yep.
And on top of that, the thing that I keep trying to get you to talk about or to answer is like the ability to be vulnerable as men is not something that we're taught. Is actually, in fact, it's something that I think we're taught to not be vulnerable, to not be emotional, to not.
But
Well, Tate, you're not a big vulnerability guy, though, are
no,
you?
He's
but,
not.
but,
I just want to talk about it.
But that discomfort that you just described has led to a massive positivity in your life.
Absolutely.
I can say the absolute same thing for fighting. I decided to go out and learn to fight to the level I learned to fight because I had a couple fights in school and I won them, but it was kind of close. And I was like, that was too close for comfort. And I thought, I'm going to go learn to fight. And it's absolutely often discomfort and trauma and bad things that will motivate you to go and do the most amazing things. Like we said earlier, you have to take the negativity and use it in a positive manner. Like we said about stress, it can go in different directions. I'll tell you right now, if you were to say to me, Andrew, you have to make double the money you're currently making, what's the number one emotion you want to feel to do it? I'd say heartbreak.
Yeah.
Stress?
Break my
But this
heart.
is-
Break my heart. I can't sleep. I'm furious. Break my heart and I'll make a fucking $1 billion. Take all the negativity and turn it into positivity. So that trauma and all those bad things that happen to you can be very, very positive things and give you a positive aspect on life if you approach it in the right way. Most people are told when you feel sad, sit at home, be sad. It's not your fault. You've got a disease. You're depressed. Be a bitch about it. I argue the opposite. I say when you feel sad, good. Take all that energy and convert it into something that's going to be a positive force for your life.
Would you say that even we're also taught to like stuff it away and not like not actually think about it, not actually go through it, not actually process it?
Not embrace it and feel it. You should feel all of your emotions. If I feel sad, I embrace it and I feel it. I'll tell you right now, the largest monumental jumps in my life in terms of success is when I was pissed off or sad.
Yeah, I mean, bro, like I could tell you, like all the time I spent in the gym to build myself, I was using that stress, I was using that trauma to make myself better.
Completely.
And that's what made me who I am today.
Absolutely.
But-
all the bad things that happen to you and make you feel in a bad way, some of those bad things that made me feel in a bad way were the most important energy sources for the most monumental jumps in my life. The biggest achievements.
I just feel like people should be taught to be more vulnerable and raw with themselves to allow themselves to see that truth so that they can make that progress in their life. And not
very
enough people
true.
are comfortable
Yeah.
with that.
Completely. They need
heartbreak made me
Facts.
go crazy.
Yeah, good. But
crazy.
you went crazy. And this is the thing. You went crazy.
Like success though.
Good.
Success-wise.
Perfect. But there's a whole bunch of men who go crazy and just call a bitch a trillion times. Should have gone to the gym instead. Same energy in a different place. So yeah, you have to feel vulnerable. You have to feel the emotions, and whether they're negative or positive, you have to embrace them and turn them into the best possible fuel to send yourself in your life.